about Fundamentalists? Welcome, it's your boy Fabian again, and we're speaking about the most entertaining match of the 2006 World Cup held in Germany. Now, this World Cup has a lot of sentimental value for me as a Trinidadian, someone from Trinidad and Tobago, because it's the only World Cup we have ever qualified for thus far. And we didn't do too well. We drew our first match against Sweden 0-0, playing with 10 men, must say. Commendable effort by the Soca Warriors. And the second match, we lost to England 2-0. And the third match, we lost 2-0 to Paraguay as well. We didn't score a goal in that World Cup. We didn't win a match, all right? I mean, it was a commendable achievement just to qualify. We were the smallest island or the smallest nation at that point to qualify for a World Cup, having only a population of 1.3 million. So it was an achievement. Our team, or the core of our team, were over 30, and you know, in football parlance, is being old, because your prime is in your 20s, and our captain Dwight York and Ross Latterpy, who made a cameo appearance in the last match, and a number of players were crossing that 30 threshold. But I ain't making no excuses. We did our best, I'm proud of the guys, and yeah, big up to Trinidad and Tobago, right? Soca Warriors, all the time. Yes, but moving right along. The two most entertaining matches, I ain't want to say the two most entertaining matches. The honorable mention for the most entertaining match. Now, you all might say this is personal bias, and you might most likely be right, but Brazil versus France in the quarterfinal, for me, was one of the most entertaining matches of that World Cup. Wasn't the most entertaining, but was one of the most. Let me just say what it is. It was the Zidane show. Zinedine Zidane in a swan song. Last tournament we'd ever see him playing. One of the last matches we ever saw him playing against Brazil. He put on a performance to remember. My goodness. If anybody see that match and disagree with me, you know what to do. Say why in the comments, because most of the football world would agree with me. First of all, Brazil were the favorites to retake the trophy, and they had a stacked team. If you want to say that they had an all-star team, you would be quite correct. Let me just call some of the players. Roberto Carlos, Cafu, Dida in goal, Roberto, Kaká, Juninho, Robinho, Adriano, Ronaldo, Nazario de Lima. You know which Ronaldo I'm talking about. Ronaldinho. I mean, we thought they were going to stroll into the World Cup final and beat whoever they met. That's how it was shaping up to be. Brazil was the favorite team in that World Cup to retain their title. But Zidane had another thing coming. I don't know if when Zidane see that yellow shirt, he does just bring out the best in himself. Or he just tell himself, hey, Brazil, all ain't beating me today. I gonna do everything in my power to make sure I win this match. And he put on the performance of a lifetime. And he himself was ready for retirement. He had already retired from the French national team, and he got called back. Because believe you me, France needed him. France needed him. And we could see why they called him back, because the performance was très magnifique. If I could use some French words. He was running everything. He was everywhere. Making those wonderful passes, flicks, hats, we call sombreros, pulling it over players' head. I mean, his full arsenal of skill was on display in that match. You could say he single-handedly won that match and got France to the final. I mean, all headbutts and controversies aside, Zidane, you were the most talented player on show in that tournament. And this game against Brazil showcased how great you are, that you still had it. In my opinion, you're the best player France ever produced. One of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion. Try to play like you a little bit, but you know, there's only one Zidane in the world. Trying in vain. France won that game 1-0 with an assist from a free kick from Zidane for Thierry Henry to score. I mean, France had a strong team as well. Thierry Henry, Zinedine Zidane, Claude Makalele, Patrick Vieira, Lilian Thuram, Fabian Barthez, Trezeguet, Ribéry, Sanyol, You could go on and on. Malouda, we got to see Malouda for the first time, and he was a handful. I don't think they've ever brought a weak team to a tournament in the last 20, 30 years, you know? France, yeah. But head and shoulders above everybody in that park at that time. That all-star cast, both teams. Zinedine Zidane. So, kudos to you, Mr. Zinedine Zidane, for bringing the entertainment and proving to the world why we love football and that age is only a number. And yeah, man, a performance for the ages. Zinedine Zidane. Alright, but that was not the most entertaining match of that World Cup. The most entertaining match, I mean, this was a difficult one. I really wanted to give it to France versus Brazil, but Argentina versus Mexico in the round of 16 was the most entertaining match. Mainly because Mexico scored first, Argentina equalized, and then they went into extra time. No goal on goal, silver goal, nothing this time around. That goal scored by Maxi Rodriguez, I believe it was, that volley. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Probably the best goal of the tournament, if I ain't mistaken. Again, if you disagree, let me know in the comments. But the game started off well with Mexico scoring first. It was a shock. I mean, it rocked Argentina back on the heels because up to that point, Argentina was playing really silky football. Demolishing teams, you know. Juan Roman Riquelme, was another great player. Having very high esteem. That guy could pass a football. That guy can create. And don't try to take the ball away from him. He has no pace, but he ain't taking his football from him. He's no slouch on the football field. When you play against him, you are playing in his game. He dictates the pace. So kudos to Juan Roman Riquelme. And Argentina had a very strong team as well. Players like Hernan Crespo, Javier Saviola, Maxi Rodriguez, like I said. They had a very young Lionel Messi and Tevez coming off the bench to tell you how strong that team was. That was the first time we got to see those two players, Lionel Messi in particular, in a World Cup. They were, Messi was, I believe, 19. I think Tevez was about 21. They weren't starting. I mean, Argentina had Sorin and they had Coloccini, strong team. Ayala was still playing. Ayala, very good defender. Argentina had a very formidable team, and then for Mexico to rock them back on the heels with that early one. It's like, and Mexico, they were going toe-to-toe with Argentina. Nobody told them that they were the underdogs. They were trying to come out to head into that quarterfinal. Borghetti, they had a very decent team as well. Came out a group with Portugal and Angola and Iran, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, Mexico, kudos for making that match the match it was. And since that goal scored, Argentina was throwing everything on the fridge at Mexico to get an equalizer, which they did. Equalizer didn't come too long after the first goal scoring. Came from a corner kick. Don't know who got the last touch. It was his tie. Some people were saying it was his hand, but hey, goal scored, right? And yeah, and Argentina was just taking it to Mexico because they didn't want to go into extra time to have to deal with any kind of penalty shootout. This was supposed to be a walk in the park for them, and Mexico made it very difficult. Very difficult. Kudos to Mexico for doing that. We got to see a very entertaining match. It was up and down. Mexico, I didn't know they had a counter-attacking football in them. It's not something you see from them often. But yeah, entertaining match. It went into extra time. And Maxi Rodriguez, boy, that way you call a beam-up Scotty. He lights it up there, boy. Wow, that goal. Big up to Maxi Rodriguez on that goal. And Argentina won 2-1 and went into the quarterfinal where they lose to the host Germany on penalties. But I ain't want to talk about that match. That match, it hit me hard. Yeah, but the most entertaining match of the 2006 World Cup, Mexico versus Argentina. Argentina winning 2-1 and going into the quarterfinal. All right, and Mexico, let's say the curse of the second round, they don't go past that round. Last time they did that was when they hosted the World Cup in 1986. But they're hosting this time again, 2026. So going to the quarterfinal, all they are the round of 32 and all they are the round of 16 in this World Cup. 48 teams, all they hosting. Mexico, we have our eyes on you. We don't want to hear about no curse or nothing, right? Good. So there you have it, folks. Most entertaining match of the 2006 World Cup in Germany. Mexico versus Argentina. As usual, if you beg to differ, hit me up down in the comments. I'll read your comment. Tell me which game you prefer. I'll look at the game and tell you if you have a point or if you don't have a point, or, friendly banter. We're all friends here. All right, so youngsters, come off the smartphones, go and take a sweat. Play football if you love the game. If you don't love the game, try it. You might like it. You might fall in love with it. Hey, all right. I go and take a little sweat. See you guys later. All right. Bye.